Well, hello there, good people. Hi, it's Jason with Green Country Agroforestry, and I'm back here in the backyard in my sweatpants because it's laundry day, and Mrs. has got a few things in the wash. But I wanted to sort of wrap up 2020 for you. Wow, what a year it's been, huh? Kind of like a roller coaster, up and down, and sometimes making you want to throw up. But at the same time, it's been a decent year too. We started out fairly early on in the year. I showed you how I set up our backyard garden with the wood chips over the contractor's paper. Setting that up, the reason why we did it that way, of course back then I was using just this little $20 GoPro knockoff camera. No microphone, so I had to take a piece of rebar, and where's that thing? Take a piece of rebar and stick it in the ground, and then take a little bit of half-inch PVC pipe and put that over the top of that to make a somewhat stable sort of tripod. Now I have an actual tripod. Yeah, got an actual tripod, an actual camera, wireless microphone. So we've come a ways with the technology that we're using to put together the show. Of course, we tried out a few different techniques. Some of them worked really well, some of them worked, and a few of them just didn't work at all. But you got to share along in the successes and triumphs from the sad event with the tomatoes and peppers coming out too early and just getting mostly devastated by the frost. We got a few out of it, but not much. The basil did much better than anything, really. Of course, you were there with us whenever we planted our okra at nighttime. Also, you were along with us whenever we built this much too tall trellis for our tomatoes, which unfortunately never got all the way up there. Well, we did have some get a ways up. That's what's left of one of them there. Yep. You were along with us when we planted this Anjou pear tree, which in the future is going to produce lots of good pears for me. We'll be cutting scion wood from it here in a couple of years. You were there with us whenever I showed you how we make our own liquid fertilizer, and this is the 3-year-old going on 4-year-old stuff here. Doesn't smell at all now. Of course, we took out the solids out of this one and moved them to a conventional compost pile. This is going to feature very heavily in the months ahead, this homemade liquid fertilizer, along with another project that I showed you earlier. Of course, I'm sure you remember our homemade potassium nitrate using the wood chips in the barrel and saturation with urine. Well, this is working out so well, I thought we ought to do something where we try to produce this on a mass scale, large amounts of organic material. And that's actually what I'm doing with the rake over there at the moment. Let me get some of this nasty old lumber up and out of the way here. Because what I want to do is expand that mass decomposition of wood chips into good quality organic matter and do it on a large scale. I believe, done the right way, that can produce us a really nice organic matter for a finished soil product. Of course, we won't use urine for that, so we're going to use that liquid fertilizer. Of course, I can't use the liquid fertilizer the way it is. We're going to have to go ahead and put it through a process of converting it from an anaerobic material to an aerobic material. I'll bring you along for that. And we'll do some other things to make a good, high quality finished soil product. Yeah, you were along with us back when we first set up these bins here with the wood chips in them and inoculated them with King Stropharia and some oyster mushroom spawn. Of course, if you look at these now, got a whole lot of fungal activity going on. Lots of the wood chips are being broken down. get on in here. Yeah. I may need to add some more material to these beds, I think. But we ought to see some flushes at them sometime soon. And of course you were there whenever we started running out of compost and we had to improvise. And I'll show you how we take some of this so-called topsoil and mix it up with some actual organic material in order to make something that you can use. But of course you've got to make sure that you get some earthworms in there too. So we have living, biologically active soil. If you're along with us when I showed you how to take something like this homemade mold and use that to cast these landscaping blocks at a fraction of the cost of buying them at the store. Of course, using those to build a retaining wall. You were there for that. I tried out the little do-it-yourself soil test kit. You were there. You were there when we brought our garlic in from last year. And you were there whenever we brought in our pole beans with these 2-inch PVC pipe poles that we rigged up. You were right along with us for some fun do-it-yourself projects like building these little PVC collars that you can use to get your plants started out and transfer them out into the garden without transplant shock, or making these moth traps to try to stop the vine borer moths from devastating your squash. Oh, incidentally, I didn't have any vine borers. You were right there with us as we were exploring worlds of possibility and finding out if it is indeed possible to plant things like this ginger here. You were there every step of the way. From the early spring when we planted these sweet peas to the time that we harvested them, and all along the Trail of Tears with me as we told the story, the Cherokee Trail of Tears black beans I've got right here. You were along for the ride. All the way up until right now, where here, even in the middle of the winter, we're still busy growing food, like these sweet peppers over here, cayennes, and basil that I've got started in our own indoor grow tent. Well, although 2020 is coming to an end, and right fast at that, the story is not over yet. We still have another year to go, and another year after that, and another year after that. No, sir, the story is far from over. And just like these catkins on this little hazelnut tree portend, there are a lot of great things coming up in the future. So I hope you stick around with us, and I'll see you next time.